I'm 21 years old. I am not Onk, but I did learn a lot since I was 14. It has been 7 years since I entered high school. I learned so much about how to improve my life, how to become more confident, improve my style, elevate my appearance. So here's everything that I wish I learned sooner. The first step is worrying so much about what other people think. Stop getting in your own head thinking, am I attractive? Do I look good? What do these people think about me? That is a never-ending cycle, so try your best to avoid it at all costs. When I was younger, all I ever did was worry what these people thought of me, if these were my real friends. Then I started to realize that these are all things that I can't control. Can't control what people think about me, and there are certain things in my appearance that are just out of my control. So I no longer worry about these. Instead, I align my focus into the things that I can control. I can control my hairstyle. I could work on skincare to make sure that my skin is clearer. Grooming, style. There are so many better ways to use your focus to actually improve your life. The next thing I wish I learned sooner is more so asking myself a question. Why am I doing certain things? Am I doing it because I genuinely enjoy it, or am I doing it for the validation of others? I try not to regret a lot of things, but my biggest regret was growing up, I was such a people pleaser that I would do a lot of things just for the validation of others. It was things that I didn't want to do, didn't interest me, yet I was doing it so my friends would like me more. And saying it out loud now, it is ridiculous that I ever thought that way. So do things, wear things that actually interest you instead of others. And I think this is still a struggle that a lot of younger guys still face. They want to buy nice things because they want a certain appearance to their friends. They want to impress people. Look, I've been there. I wasted so much money on stuff just to try to impress others. And look, sometimes I'm still a little bit materialistic, but all the things that I buy because I genuinely like it. And if I'm being honest, I still see a lot of people who never grow out of this. That's when you start to see older guys who buy cars just to impress girls. It's a terrible mindset to have, and I wish that I cut that out sooner. The next thing you need to start doing more is experimenting. And I say this to myself because, again, I'm not Onk. There are still so many things that I'm gonna learn, but I realize the best way to learn things about yourself and your personal interests is experimenting. You would never know what you're gonna like until you try it. So whether it's that jacket that you think is a little bit out of my comfort zone, buy it, try it out. If you don't like it, keep the tags on and return it. This is a great way to elevate your style and always keep things refreshing. But at the same time, this doesn't just apply to style. I'm still figuring out my hairstyle. I wanna try new things. I'm gonna try new haircuts, new hair products, and hopefully I can find something new that's really gonna stick to me. And as of lately, I've been applying this to my life as well. I moved to a brand new city. I don't know many people here, but this is the biggest experiment / risk that I've taken in a very long time. And so far, life has been feeling great. I would have never done it had I been too scared to experiment with anything. The next thing I wish I knew at a young age is to always smell good. When you smell good, people just want to be around you. And when I was a shy 14-year-old kid, I had no idea how to start conversations. And in my own head, all I ever wanted to think was, how can people like me? And now that I'm older and I've experimented with new things, one of the main compliments that I get is, you smell good. And it's quite literally my favorite compliment to get. But spending hundreds of dollars on cologne is something that I would never do as a teenager. So instead, you could try today's video sponsor, Scentbird. Scentbird is a subscription service where you could try a range of different colognes, different types, different brands, different lines, and full bottles ranging from $200 all the way up to $400. But with Scentbird, you can get your first month for $8 and $16.95 continuously after, as long as you keep the subscription. And going back to experimentation, this is the best way to experiment without completely destroying your bank account. And also, completely different types of colognes. Some sweet, some fresh, some a little bit more masculine and musky. You can always order a new vial, put it in the travel case, and you are always gonna be ready to smell your best. Especially if you're in school. You can throw this in your backpack, keep this around. Whenever you need a pick-me-up, this is the perfect way to do that. Now, my whole thing is about being put together, and if you're interested in getting your first month for $8, you can scan this QR code or use code Aaron Ramirez to get 55% off your first month. The next thing I wish I knew earlier was keep things simple. Especially at a young age, everybody likes to overthink things, and therefore everything just seems so much more complicated than it actually is. But as I continuously got older, I realized nothing is really that complicated. It's intimidating at first, but that's only because you have no experience with it. But as you start to build that experience, things are just gonna come easier. You're gonna figure things out, and eventually you are going to get good at things, and nothing is gonna seem that hard eventually. Because yes, things are obviously hard, but they're only hard because you have no idea what you're doing. And I'm a big believer that experience is the best teacher. So once you research and then start doing things, eventually you are going to get good at whatever you want to do. Everything starts to be more simple. So whether you're intimidated to get into style, you have no idea where to start, just start somewhere. Buy your basics. If you want to start getting into fitness, sure, at first glance, weightlifting is going to be intimidating, dieting is going to seem so confusing, but once you start, you're eventually going to get good at it, and it all starts with just keeping things simple. Speaking of which, the next thing you should know is versatility is king. Obviously, as a teenager, you don't have a ton of money, and that's totally okay. What's not okay is wasting your money on things that you can only wear once or twice, or with only specific things. Get things that are versatile. If you want to buy a watch, don't buy a really bold watch that only really looks good during the spring and summer. Get a black or white watch that is going to look good with any outfit. The same principle is the same exact reason why I love white shoes so much. I have some shoes that are a little bit more vibrant, and therefore I can only wear it with certain things. But if I had white sneakers, I can quite literally wear it with anything. So when you're going out and shopping, make sure that you buy things that's going to go with everything in your wardrobe and you can see yourself wearing in multiple different occasions. And that way, it doesn't matter that you don't have a ton of money because you're shopping smarter, which eventually, as you slowly start to build your wardrobe, everything is just going to work so easily with each other. Now, I love this next piece of advice because it's something that I'm still working on to this day. And that is, don't compare yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. And as I get older, the more I realize that. I used to think that comparison was a good way to put myself in a competitive mindset, and I feel like I would go places a lot further if I was more competitive. That works sometimes, but then you're quickly going to get burnt out because everybody has their own pace. Maybe this guy has a certain advantage to you, and if you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you are not going to be focused on what you need to do. Because I truly believe if you want to get better and constantly improve, there are certain things that are holding you back, and if you're comparing yourself to others, you are not going to realize exactly what those things are that you need to work on. So now that I'm growing up, I'm really big into that mindset of getting 1% better every single day. That's only because I want to be better than I was last week or the month before that. And eventually 1 year from today, hopefully I'm gonna be completely unrecognizable. And it doesn't matter what other people are doing because I am getting better, which is something that I feel like is very fulfilling to myself. Speaking of which, you have to adopt lifestyle habits. Again, this is something that I'm working on, but if you could learn this at a young age, you are going to get ahead so much faster. I'm starting to realize that as you start to become a more successful person, it's not because of the things you have, but it's more so the things that you do. So you are going to have to change as a person. And I know that sounds a little bit scary, but it's really not. It's actually for the best. Because for example, 1 year ago from today, I wasn't the kind of person to be disciplined on myself. I used to be the kind of person who would only rely on motivation and would only work whenever I felt like it. But now I'm a lot more disciplined and I work on the things that I need to despite how I'm feeling. Now, obviously I'm still Aaron, but because of the characteristics that I had, I'm essentially two different people. And I'm a lot happier being the person that I am today than I was last year. Anyways, thanks again to Scentbird for making me smell my best. Make sure to use code Aaron Ramirez to get your first month for 55% off, or use this QR code right here. It's really about the little things. And I get it, when you're young, you feel like you don't have too much figured out. But if you are interested in leveling up your style without a ton of money, here are the best items that you could buy for less than 50 bucks that will improve your life.